Tonight on Newswatch, the Athens City Council is considering changes to rules around vacant properties. And in Egypt, peace negotiations are underway between Israel and Hamas, just a day before the 2-year anniversary of the start of the war in Gaza. And in sports, Ohio football suffered an upset loss on the road at Ball State. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Morgan Anderson. Welcome to Newswatch. Well, this just in. Athens City Council meets tonight to consider a proposal to change vacancy policy in Athens. Newswatch reporter Charlie Ehlenfeld joins us live from City Hall as the ordinances get their first readings. Charlie?
Morgan, Athens City Council is proposing new measures to target vacant property in Athens. If a building falls into the vacant designation, the owner has 1 year of valid registration before they're charged an additional fee. If the properties would be the properties would be subject to an increasing fee for failing to comply with standards for vacancy, public health, or hazardous conditions. That's the language provided by Ordinance 10325, and Ordinance 10425 clarifies what the city finds to be a vacant property. Any building that is unoccupied, unsecured, unsafe, as determined by inspection, or abandoned for 90 days can be subject to this designation. City officials clarified there are exceptions for professors researching abroad, active military members, and that the program is not a land grab.
It's just if someplace is abandoned, well, if you want to keep it that way, it is a cost to the city. So we want you to pay some dollars to make that continue or fix it up and rent it.
The move is the latest in a line of decisions the council has undertaken with the hopes of providing more housing for the city. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld, live in Athens.
Good evening, Athens. Currently here, it is 78 degrees with mostly clear skies and some calm winds right now as we start to go into our evening hours. Now, we do have some cloud cover out to our west here, and that is because of a cold front that's going to be entering our region tonight and making its way through the state tomorrow. And that's going to be bringing a lot of rain. We'll get more into that in a second. Today we had partly sunny skies with a high of 84 and a low of 62. Now tonight we have that low of 62 expected with that 60% chance of showers. Now this is more so for tomorrow, but just in general, we've been very dry these past few weeks. We have been downgraded to a D0 abnormally dry drought status. However, due to these dry soils, flooding is a concern, so be on the lookout for ponding on roadways and other low-lying areas. But with tomorrow's sunrise at 7:29 a.m., we're starting to get those later sunrises into our morning as we start getting closer to that time change. So just be a little bit more ready for your mornings. But we'll get more into those rain showers later on in the show.
Thanks, Lexi. It's almost time to cast your ballot. Early voting starts tomorrow in Ohio. Election Day is still a month away, but you can start voting soon. Voter registration ends tonight at 9 p.m. and starting tomorrow, Athens County voters can cast their ballot at the Athens Board of Elections office from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. To find your local polling place, you can follow the link on your screen. Athens City announces the closure of Madison Avenue from the intersection of East State Street. The road will be closed 50 feet north of the intersection and will be under construction until October 24th. The work aims to improve sight distance at the intersection for drivers and pedestrians. For questions or concerns, you can reach out to City of Athens Engineering and Public Works Department at the number on your screen. Senator Bernie Moreno is proposing a daily income tax on Congress for every day the government shutdown continues. The so-called Shutdown Act would dock members of Congress $500 per day until the government reopens. Moreno says the bill is constitutional because it's an income tax, not a change in salary. Moreno is one of several Republicans on Capitol Hill blaming Democrats for the shutdown. Republicans have the majority in the House and Senate and only need 5 Democrats to pass a spending resolution. Ohio officials say so far, no services running on federal funding have been affected and likely won't be for at least 2 more weeks. Well, ICE raids are sparking tensions in 2 Democratic-led cities as the Trump administration continues to ramp up its immigration policy. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Tensions are high in two Democrat-led cities as the Trump administration continues to step up its immigration enforcement efforts. Over the weekend, protests sparked in Chicago after President Donald Trump authorized 300 members of the Illinois National Guard to, quote, protect federal officers and assets. This comes over the objections of Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
If they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do, they need to get the heck out. What they ought to do is allow us to work with FBI, ATF, DEA, who are civilian law enforcement and understand how to target and take out the bad guys.
In Oregon Sunday, a Trump-appointed federal judge expanded on a more narrow ruling that prevented the Trump administration from sending Oregon National Guard troops to the state's largest city. This came after officials in Oregon and California objected in court to Trump reassigning federalized Guard troops in Los Angeles to Portland.
All you have to do is look at the television, turn on your television, read your newspapers. It's burning to the ground. The governor, the mayor, the politicians are petrified for their lives.
Mr. President,
and you have a judge like that, that judge ought to be ashamed of him.
The temporary restraining order now blocks National Guard troops from anywhere in the country to Portland.
There's no need for military intervention in Oregon. There's no insurrection in Portland. There's no threat to national security. Oregon is our home. It is not a military target.
The Trump administration plans to appeal the judge's decision. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Coming up, it's been almost 2 years since the war in Gaza began, and peace negotiations are underway in Egypt. And with respiratory illness season on the way, there are some to watch out for.
And we've been very hot and very dry this last week, but will that continue this week? We'll find out more when Newswatch returns.
This is a pressure cooker of predators.
The rivalry is so intense.
Look at that speed.
The Cubs are leading the charge.
Wow. The whole pride is chasing. Whoa, whoa, the Cub just got thrown.
Absolutely unbelievable.
I cannot watch another cat kill a cub again. No.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
On Secrets of the Dead.
The Colosseum is the most famous monument in the Roman world.
An excavation sheds new light on the gladiator battles once held inside its walls.
The sport is entirely different than we've been led to believe.
And on the Roman Empire itself.
Inside the games is a microcosm of the reality of the world order. Rome is in charge.
The rise and fall of the Colosseum on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Did you get that?
That is incredible.
We are a part of a revolution.
That, for me, is so exciting.
Well, tomorrow marks 2 years since the war in Gaza began. Analysts say an end could be within reach as ceasefire talks begin in Egypt today. Negotiators are discussing President Donald Trump's 20-point roadmap for peace. It calls for an immediate end to the war and then gives Hamas 72 hours to release all Israeli hostages. After that, it has Israel set free 250 prisoners and 1,700 detainees. The plan also involves Israel's eventual withdrawal from Gaza.
It's a great deal for Israel. It's a great deal for the entire Arab world, Muslim world, and world. So we're very happy about it.
For the first time, Israeli leaders are publicly agreeing to that idea. Pressure to end the conflict is growing after Israel tried to assassinate a Hamas ceasefire delegation in Qatar. The Supreme Court returns to start their new term. They'll tackle cases consisting of how much power the president has under the Constitution in various topics. Karen Kafa explores what this new term will mean.
The Supreme Court did not get much of a summer break, weighing in over the last 3 months on a number of emergency cases around President Donald Trump's administration and its policies. Now the court's new term, which opened on Monday, also features a docket loaded with key cases that will tackle how much power the president has under the U.S. Constitution and some hot-button social issues. This week, the court will hear another case regarding transgender rights. The justices will hear a challenge to a Colorado law banning so-called conversion therapy, the discredited practice that purports to convert gay or transgender people to be straight, by a licensed counselor in the state who says such restrictions violate the First Amendment. Later in the term, the court will hear arguments in a case involving transgender students playing on school sports teams that align with their gender identity. In November, the Trump administration's trade policies come into focus as the justices consider whether President Trump overstepped his executive authority when he implemented sweeping global tariffs. A federal appeals court ruled this summer that the power to impose taxes is one that belongs to Congress. December and January will bring arguments on two cases brought by leaders at independent government agencies who were fired by President Trump, Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook and a former federal trade commissioner, and whether the president overstepped his authority there. A unanimous decision by the court back in 1935 has protected such commissioners from the whims of the White House. Also on Monday, the Supreme Court rejected an appeal of the criminal conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell, the accomplice of Jeffrey Epstein, currently serving a 20-year federal prison sentence. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
I don't know about you all, but I feel like I can smell the rain that's coming in. Sure. Lexi, I mean, I'm no forecaster, but that's how I can tell. And I know there has to be people at home watching this being like, Morgan, I'm the same way. Lexi, is it going to rain? You mentioned it earlier. We talked about the rain that could be coming in with some, flooding potential. Can you smell the rain, or do you have a lot better way to tell?
I can't smell the rain. I've developed that as a kid now. But we do have a cold front coming in, which is usually, tends to have some rain. But last year we didn't really have many frontal systems that had much rainfall. But we can see that a lot better in a little bit. Currently here it is 78 degrees with mostly clear skies and calm winds. Now, we did see some sunshine earlier today, but that's quickly gone away with some cloud cover. I know we might be seeing some right now as well with those mostly clear skies, but we are seeing a bit of cloud cover today, and that is because of a low pressure system that's going to be coming through. Now, we have this line of clouds right here, and that's associated with a bit of a cold front. We can see that a lot better here. Kansas City is 75, but Rapid City here is 56. That just had that cold front come in, so it gives you a bit of an idea of what we can expect that change to be. Not as wild as a 71 to 56 or 75 to 56, but it's still going to be a nice little cool down, and it's going to be great fall weather. Now we can see that a lot better here, that the high pressure that's going to kind of help him push that cold front along. Now today we had partly sunny skies with a high of 84 and a low of 62, and tonight we'll have that low of 62 with a 60% chance of showers. Like I said earlier, dry soils, it's hard to take in a lot of moisture, a lot of rain. We do have that risk of localized flooding, and I'll get more into that in a second. Tomorrow, with that 100% chance of showers is the main concern with that flooding possibility. With a high of 71, nice fall weather. What did I say? With the low of 51. But yeah, like with the drought conditions that we've had in the last few weeks and in the last month, this is a bit of a concern when it comes to flooding. We can see that a lot better here. That low pressure system tomorrow is starting to make its way into Ohio, that cold front pushing through with some rain showers that can be heavy at times, especially tomorrow night. We see a lot more of those reds and yellows on there. So we have that more of a risk of localized flooding, especially here in Athens when we already see a decent chunk of flooding, even when we don't have any sort of drought conditions. So as per usual, do what you usually do when you're worried about flooding. Look at ponding on the roadways. If there's some water on the roadway, don't turn around. About 6 inches of rain can push a car. Be careful with that. Just turn around if you see some ponding on the roadways. Don't take your chances. Tomorrow night especially, we got those heavier showers. Now Wednesday, we'll start to see it pushing out. The rain should be done by tomorrow night into Wednesday as well, but we can't knock out some showers Wednesday morning due to those just lasting showers around. Now, this looks beautiful compared to last week, when last week we had those highs in the 80s and close to 90 even. Now we're just complete opposite with those fall weathers, those fall conditions now. Tomorrow, like I said, with those showers, but for the rest of the week, we're looking very sunny, very cool. It'll be nice to be around and outside with those sunny skies and just highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Now the night is going to be pretty chilly. You see there Wednesday and Thursday overnight lows of 39 degrees. Friday not much better with a low of 41. Just make sure you have a jacket because you're probably going to need it.
Thanks, Lexi. It's the beginning of the common respiratory virus season, and one to look for is the respiratory syncytial virus, also known as RSV. It can cause mild symptoms similar to a cold, but can be dangerous. Mandy Gaither explains the expectations of RSV this season and ways to protect your family.
Right now in the U.S., RSV activity is low, but October is when the virus typically starts spreading, and it's dangerous to those who are most vulnerable.
It's the leading cause of hospitalizations in kids less than 1 year of age.
Dr. Juanita Mora with the American Lung Association says RSV symptoms may start mild with a runny nose and high fever, but it can travel to the lungs and cause babies and young children to be at risk for illnesses like pneumonia. She says if a child is having labored breathing, shortness of breath, wheezing, a worsening cough, or signs of dehydration like a lack of wet diapers, it's time to take them to the emergency room. But she says there is a way to protect against severe disease, the RSV vaccine. The CDC says it can be given between weeks 32 and 36 of pregnancy, or an infant RSV antibody can be given to the baby after birth.
We saw from the 2024-2025 data that by giving protection to these babies, we were able to reduce hospitalization by 50%.
Last season, the CDC estimates that from October 1st, 2024 through May 3rd, 2025, there were up to 6.5 million RSV outpatient visits, up to 350,000 hospitalizations, and up to 23,000 deaths due to RSV. This season, the agency expects peak weekly hospitalization rates across all age groups due to RSV to be similar.
Let's protect the village to help protect these babies.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Next in sports, Ohio football suffered an upset loss Saturday to Ball State. Find out what went wrong and hear from head coach Brian Smith when we return. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on X, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay tuned for a new episode of The Wrap coming up tomorrow.
In our biotech ecosystem, one might ask, what would have happened if there was no Phil Sharp?
In creating treatments for the disease, Phil's laboratories led the way.
He would walk through the lab and do this. Any breakthroughs today?
I would say he wanted to win, yes.
I wasn't the strongest student, not even close, but I turned out to be very imaginative.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
It's tough because my mom and dad are poor.
We lost our whole house and everything.
We can't afford to pay our bills.
Oh, wow, I'm gonna be a mom.
Being born poor can start off rough. It can be a difficult process because you limited opportunities.
The last thing that I want is for my kids to worry about what we're gonna have for dinner.
What can I do today to make myself better for tomorrow? When the future does come, I'm ready, and I'll be able to make it happen.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB. For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
The Cartober fundraising drive is on. Help give back this month by donating your used car, truck, RV, or boat to our station. Donating is easy and it's tax deductible. Just call this toll-free number, schedule your free pickup, we'll tow it and give you a donation receipt. Can't donate a car? Spread the word by telling your friends or family. Learn more by calling this toll-free number or visiting us online.
Ohio football had their first road conference game against the Ball State Cardinals, who entered this matchup with a 1-4 record, searching for a win in their first MAC game. The first half was dominant for Ohio, who kept the Cardinals from scoring, but they were unable to hold on in the second half. Ohio's strengths this season have been their dominant defense and dual-threat quarterback Parker Navarro. However, this week, the second half was the kryptonite for this defense, which gave up 20 second-half points. Ball State's momentum continued to grow after a late safety before their final scoring drive, which ultimately carried them to victory over the Bobcats. Head coach Brian Smith spoke about the importance of this bye week and where the team can look to improve ahead of their next game.
To them, there's a lot that we obviously need to get better at and grow from this game, which moving into a bye week, there's a lot for us to work at getting better at internally. I felt like there was a little bit of a tale of two halves. In the first half, I would have loved for us to finish more drives and be able to extend our lead and force them to have to throw a little bit more than they did.
Yesterday was senior day for the field hockey team, who finished the weekend with an exciting overtime victory against the Queens Royals. This win follows last weekend's disappointing high-scoring loss to MAC foe Central Michigan. This was a back-and-forth effort with chances coming from each side of the field. Both Ohio and Queens would score in regulation, but neither team would find the back of the net again until OT. Natalie LaFleur would end the game scoring on a breakaway with 3 minutes left, and she says the team is still working to improve.
But there's definitely still work that needs to be done. Obviously, we're out shooting our opponents, but we got to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's just the final step. But watching us improve from almost under 5 shots on goal to now in the double digits, obviously we're a step in the right direction. So yeah, discipline and practice, just high speed, and that energy to just get in the circle. We just got to finish now.
Ohio volleyball lost both conference matchups this weekend, extending their losing streak to 11 games for the first time since the beginning of the 2021 season. The Bobcats would find a way to secure the win in a close first set and were hoping to carry that momentum forward. The Bulls fought back, winning the second set. The back and forth would continue until the fifth set, which would see an extended review on an Ohio kill. But Buffalo's Emerson Matthews would secure the victory for her team, handing Ohio their 4th conference loss. Ohio men's hockey is starting their season 4-0 following another series sweep last weekend against the number 15 Purdue Northwest Lions. The Bobcats have found the back of the net easily in their first 4 games. Forward Luke Reeve leads the team with his 5 goals. Goaltending has been a big factor in the team's success, with all 3 goalies starting and winning. Senior goaltender Garrett Alderman has been solid in the crease for the team, not giving up a goal in either of his starts. They are on the road again this weekend against the number 7 Maryville Saints. Barry Schutte has been a phenomenal coach for Ohio hockey, and today happens to be National Coaches Day, which encourages people to honor and recognize the impacts of coaches in sports and beyond. Michael Yoshida has more about the day itself and its importance.
Established in 1972 by President Nixon, National Coaches Day seeks to recognize the broader role of coaches in young people's lives.
On and off the field, coaches can transform lives.
Teach life skills that are going to stay with kids long after their playing days are over.
Jason Sachs with Positive Coaching Alliance works to make sure young people have coaches who inspire them to become the best version of themselves in the game and in life.
Youth sports is possibly one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful, platform that we have in our country for positive youth development. So we just need to make sure that it's being done right, and oftentimes the coach is at the center of that.
But with so many youth league and team options, potential pressures of costs, scholarships, or even NIL sponsorship money, Sachs offers this advice to parents. Do your homework. Make sure your expectations, your child's, and the organization's align. Is it a travel team where playing time isn't guaranteed? Or something more developmental and fun where everyone plays? How competitive is it? And what are the goals?
So we really want the parents to take a close look and make sure they're making the right decision for their child at that point in their child's life.
For players and coaches, Sachs says yes, feedback can be tough and failure can and will happen. But lessons of teamwork, adversity, and learning to work with others of different backgrounds and personalities can help you well beyond the game.
The most important thing that a coach can do with a player is to build trust, because once there's that connection and trust, then I think that's where a lot of the learning can happen.
And Sachs also talked about how it's important to remember that you need to let the coaches be the coaches while you can be that supportive parent on the sidelines or in the stands. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida.
Still ahead, tonight might be the perfect night to go stargazing with a special edition. Stay tuned for more details on tonight's harvest moon. We'll be back after the break, but until then, here's a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross.
We were sitting on an incredible story, and my first thought was, why are we not telling this?
It's just amazing. You get to see the studio and all the original artifacts.
It's like any other room until you know the story. Bob Ross painted here. Suddenly, this space becomes magical.
This is a great new destination for Bob Ross fans all over.
The Bob Ross experience is a home for Bob Ross.
Any Bob fan would love it.
Saturday at 9 on WOUB.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist. A big reason for this? My teachers.
Look at you! You're doing so good!
Art in school is what made me want to get to school every day. I've had such a good time doing this with you. I just think joy has got to be a part of education.
You ready for class?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
It's officially fall, and you know what that means? Cooling temperatures, colorful trees, and falling leaves, plus the harvest moon on a clear autumn night. The harvest moon will be visible tonight and early tomorrow, but this year will be extra special because it's also a supermoon. So a supermoon happens when the moon reaches its closest point to Earth, making it look larger and fuller. This October full moon is called the harvest moon because it's the closest to the first day of fall. Well, how neat is that?
That's actually, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Okay, Lexi, so any chance that this evening we could see the moon? I mean, is the rain?
I'm about to break some stargazers' hearts.
Oh, no.
I'm not sure. We already got some rain coming in. We do have some rain to our west that is giving us more cloud cover today. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe through some breaks in the clouds, but I don't know. We are expecting some pretty cloudy conditions with those rain showers coming in. So who knows? Maybe earlier on in the night, but definitely not later tonight for sure. Now we have those showers tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, with that cold front coming in and a high of 71. It's weird to say high of 71. I've been saying high in the 80s for the last week. But we're going to continue this cold trend as we go into our week this week, with highs only being up in the upper 60s and low 70s throughout the entire week. So it's going to be an absolutely beautiful fall week, with cooler nights especially. So it's like a weird change from like 50-degree nights to like 39, 40-degree nights.
Awesome. Well, I love it, Lexi. I'm especially excited, and that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For all of us here, I'm Morgan Anderson. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and have a great night while you're at it.